AdoramaTV presents Photo on the Go with Joe McNally, where you'll go behind the scenes to see how great photos are made. Here's your host, Joe McNally.
This is Joe McNally for AdoramaTV, and in this segment we're going to talk again about line of sight TTL transmission at a distance and also using color gels to alter or match the color environment you're shooting in. I like these shuttered shots. There's a strong graphic line, okay? And I also picked up on the fact that there's some red kind of glint. So at ISO 200, which is good ISO to stay at because it really means quality and detail, I've got a 30th roughly at f2.8 and just a glimmer of red off of all of these shuttered shots. So how do I maintain that shutter speed and augment the red? Well, I'm going to use angle of incidence, angular reflection. I'm going to take a TTL flash. It'll be my background light, so it'll be in group C. I'm going to put this flash, as you see, there's a red gel on it. And I've also sealed the gel over the flash head. So in other words, there's no white light bleeding around it. It's all red coming out of here. So I'm going to put this down the block and try to make sure that it has great efficiency by matching angle of incidence to angular reflection right into my camera lens. So in other words, this light will be down the block and it'll hit the storefront and skip literally right into the lens of the camera. And it should take this minimal red glow that I'm seeing that's inspiring the use of this particular location and really augment it with artificial flash light. So that means I don't have to drag my shutter or lengthen my shutter speed out to kind of get the ambient light, because then I'm going to get into a situation where it'd be tough to hand hold, and also the model may not be sharp because the shutter speed is so lengthy. So what's the problem, or the enemy really, when you're trying to create a saturated color environment? Lots and lots of white light bouncing all over the place. This is a great flash light shaper, but what's the situation here? It's a big expanse of white area that the flash is coming through, and it's spreading all over the place, and it's mitigating the effect of the red environment, the red gel that I'm trying to create. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a very simple thing called a fabric grid. This will Velcro right into the front of the light shaper. And what it does is it columnates the light. It takes it just like a honeycomb grid would on a smaller light source. These fabric grids will drop in over softboxes, both big and small softboxes, and take the light and shape it and control it so it doesn't spill everywhere. So this is the means I'm going to use to make sure my white light doesn't interfere with the red light that I'm trying to create for the environment of the picture. So I positioned my red light down the block. I've tucked it up against a telephone pole so it's kind of out of the way and doesn't obstruct pedestrian traffic, always important. I also mentioned that it was going to be a group C light, and that's the way I usually work. My background lights are always my group C light. But I'm going to try to do this particular setup, and you can see, or you will see in the shot, how far that light is away, but I'm going to try to work with the pop-up or built-in flash on a D800, which means that that light now is my background light, but I cannot put it into group C. I'll put it into group B, because with the pop-up or commander flash that you're using here built into the camera, you only have command of two groups, A and B. All right, now let's switch up to the egg crate. Beautiful, a little higher, Raymond, a little higher. There you go, good, good, good. Gorgeous. We had an absolutely beautiful model here, Fang. She's very well known here in Asia. She's spectacular. She was out on the street with us. And I'm using a 70 to 200 millimeter lens. My finals were manual on the camera, 30th around 2.8, ISO 200 all the way through. I'm using the pop-up or built-in flash to command both my main light and my background light. My background light is quite a distance away. It's halfway down the block. It's firing off of this. It's red gelled, creating this red environment that's sliding a color all along these horizontal slats, which are a powerful graphic. we're using as a main light for my subject in this neighborhood an EasyBox Hot Shoe Softbox, and dropped into the front of it, as you can see, is a fabric grid. The reason I did that was I did not want a lot of white light bleed, okay, all over the environment up in here, especially now that we created a color environment that we were going after, namely the red that's coming from the background light. So, case in point, if you're going to gel to a theatrical measure the environment, you have to be very careful with applying white light flash. If you lose control of that, if you let it get everywhere on the set, it's going to destroy the color environment that you're trying to create. So the fabric grid helped me retain control of the light up front, and then I flooded literally the background with a bunch of red light coming from one flash down the block. Because it's so dark out here on the street, what we did to introduce, the only other light we had on the set was a small LED focusing light at very, very dim power, just providing a little contrast for my subject up front who's operating in the shadows. That way the camera could pick up on that contrast level and focus properly. From the streets of Hong Kong, it's Joe McNally for Adorama TV.
Adorama TV is brought to you by Adorama, your best source for the equipment and knowledge you need. For all the latest photography, video, and computer gear, visit Adorama.com. Place your order by 7 p.m. and it ships the same day. Plus, the next time you're in New York City, be sure to visit our store, located on 18th Street between 5th and 6th Avenue. Check out the Adorama Rental Company for professional cameras, lighting, computers, and more. We'll help you make the best selection to match your needs while giving you the knowledge to achieve the best outcome from your rental. Adorama is your complete solution for equipment, printing, training, and more. Adorama, more than a camera store.